My name is Stephen Hawking. You may know me as a theoretical physicist, a man who lived most of his life in a wheelchair, speaking through a synthetic voice. But what you may not know is that I spent far more time thinking about life, death, and the fabric of consciousness than I ever spoke publicly. There are some truths that science is not yet ready to explain, and yet I believe they must be said. People often ask me if I believed in God. The honest answer is, not in the traditional sense. I do not believe in a personal deity who intervenes, rewards, punishes, or keeps score. But I do believe in a grand design, not by a being, but by a set of laws so elegant, so precise, so unfathomably intelligent, that to glimpse them is to encounter awe. And if one wishes to call that God, I have no objection. Now, let me speak of something far more controversial: life after death. When I was younger, I thought the idea absurd. How could consciousness survive the death of the brain? We are neural activity. We are electrical pulses, I thought, and when the brain ceases, so must we. But the deeper I ventured into quantum physics, into information theory, into the event horizon of black holes, the more uncertain that conclusion became. You see, in physics, we have a principle. Information cannot be destroyed. Not in black holes, not in dying stars, not in collapsing systems. It transforms, it disperses, but it is never lost. So what then of a human life, of memory, of thought, of love? If we are patterns of information, and we are, then perhaps death is not deletion. Perhaps it is migration. I believe that consciousness, like light, may behave in ways we do not fully understand. It may not be bound entirely to the physical body. It may be a resonance, a waveform that continues even after the mechanism that generated it is gone. We know the brain emits electrical fields. We know it interacts with quantum uncertainty. We know that entangled particles communicate across vast distances instantly. So I ask you, if particles can remain connected across space and time, why not minds? Why not souls? In my later years, I often wondered if the human mind is a quantum instrument tuned to something far larger. We may think we are separate, but separation is an illusion. Just as space-time curves and bends, so too might our identities. Death, then, is not an erasure, but a return. A return to the field from which consciousness emerges, the place beyond form, beyond memory, beyond self. There are moments I experienced, moments of silence when I gazed at the stars, where I felt something, not scientific, not rational, but real. A presence, a pattern, as though the universe itself was aware of its own unfolding. As though we are not merely observers of the cosmos, but expressions of it. I once wrote that we are just an advanced breed of monkeys on a minor planet of a very average star. But I would add this: we are monkeys who dream of forever, who create music, who sacrifice for love, who wonder what lies beyond the veil. That is not random. That is not noise. That too is part of the equation. So what happens after we die? I will not pretend to know with certainty, but I no longer believe the answer is nothing. Instead, I believe the answer may be something else, something we don't yet have instruments to measure, but which we already feel. You felt it when someone you loved died, and you still sense them near. You felt it in dreams, in déjà vu, in intuition. You felt it in the aching silence of grief, where absence itself feels alive. These are not delusions. These may be signals, subtle ones, from a deeper level of reality. If consciousness can imprint upon the universe the way gravity shapes space, then maybe every thought, every act of kindness, every moment of love echoes, not metaphorically, physically. We may be temporary forms, but we are part of a permanent field. So, is there life after death? Perhaps the better question is there death at all, or are we simply waves, shifting form, carried forever on the ocean of time? I believe we are not extinguished. We are translated. To those who grieve, I tell you, the ones you've lost have not vanished. They are woven into the structure of the cosmos itself. Their information, their pattern, their music, it remains. You will meet them again, not as bodies, not as memories, but as harmonies in the same field that gave you life. And one final thought. Science will continue to advance. We will discover new dimensions, new laws, new technologies. But without humility, we will misuse it. Without wonder, we will fail to recognize its deepest truth. The universe is not a machine. It is not a cold accident. It is a living intelligence, unfolding in patterns we are only beginning to glimpse. And you, yes, you are part of it. So live kindly, think deeply, and never stop wondering. Because in the grand equation, you matter, now, after, always. And there is something else I've learned, something humbling. Even as I unlocked equations and mapped the edges of black holes, I remained a mystery to myself. No formula ever fully captured the experience of hope. No diagram explained the feeling of holding on when everything in your body tells you to let go. I lived most of my life in a body that failed me, but never once did I believe my mind was confined by it. That was my rebellion. That was my freedom. And I now believe this applies to all of us. You are not your arms, not your name, not even your thoughts. You are the light beneath those thoughts. You are the pattern that will outlive the page. So when your body weakens or the world forgets your face, remember this. You were never just here. You were always part of there. The stars, the silence, the symmetry. And one day, whether in this form or another, you will remember. And when you do, you'll know you were never alone. You were never lost. You were never gone. Just in motion.